Let's not count our blessings yet, though, because once we hit sculpt room, it could all be a mess. It's all a mess in the sculpt room. And I don't have anything in here that's been saved to allow me. If I go to customize UI, that's where I get into the trouble with being able to click and check on everything. So I don't want that. I just want this. All right. Let's see. Yeah, at least it'll let me do what I want to do. Import object. Going to go to your Rhino object, which you would need to export as an OBJ file. I hadn't done that this time around, but after you've done this, you would want to select this whole thing and export it as an OBJ. And I exported it as Katy OHb. The reason you want to do that, OBJ and an STL are virtually the same thing. They're both a basic mesh data file, but STL tends to be for manufacturing, OBJ tends to be for animation. 3D coats and animation applications, so if you have a struggle pulling something in, if it's going to be difficult, usually I'll go OBJ. I have no problem usually bringing things straight in from Rhino as an STL, but I suspected this would cause me trouble. I hit open, it reads the object, and that's how the object looks when it comes in. You want to make sure that import without voxelization is checked, that import as child is checked, and respect negative volumes is checked. So you want to look at that and make sure this is what you have. Then you want to click on auto scale. That will scale the object to the size that the program thinks will be the most useful. And once you have that, you hit apply. This object isn't in your scene yet. It's just sitting there as something to look at, but it is not a scene. This is, when you get this warning, it'll say it's the first time you've tried to import it. Do you want to preserve the size of this object in its native software? You do. By doing this, it means even though you've asked 3D Coat to zoom in on this thing and make it big enough to be comfortable in here, when you export it back out, it'll be actual size in Rhino. That's very unique to 3D Coat as far as I know. ZBrush doesn't do anything like that. It's a very manufacturing friendly thing. I hit yes. Still doesn't look like it's changed anything, although now you can see a whole list of objects over here. To make sure it worked, you want to pick a tool other than the import tool. So any of these over here, I usually just pick smooth. It's a brush. And once you do that, you get to see what has actually come in. Yes, and so if you're looking for something to model with, that presents a problem. What presents a further problem is when you come over here, this is how we got in trouble last time. There are 80 objects. Okay? You can't do much with them in this state. So this is the problem. You've got a very complicated object, and you've got 80 of them. Okay? So the way you need to solve this is, first off, you need to make them into something with thickness. The reason this is so difficult to deal with is it's just a skin. There's no dimensionality. What's worse is that by default, when you look at things in 3D Coat, it has what they call backface culling, which means it only shows you the side that you're looking at. So the inside of this surface you can't see until you come over here. Okay? So it makes the whole thing very difficult to work with. You need some thickness. Fortunately, 3D Coat comes with that functionality. So if I come down here and I start picking objects at the bottom, and now I'm going to want some shaders in place. There we go. If I come down here and just going to see if I like the shader list I have here. Okay, default's fine. I'm going to take object 80 at the very bottom of the list. I'm going to right click it. And it's going to give me an option here to thicken. I'm going to select thicken. And then I'm going to make a nice heavy thickness to this. This will give you a very thin thickness. I'm going to go 4, maybe even 5. I'll go with 4. Hit OK. And hit OK. Now you have 80 things here. So it's hard to even see what happened, if anything happened. To verify what happened, you're going to now assign this a material. You can assign it anything that you like. I'll assign it default. That will now make it shade that color. That's right. But can you see how that tiny little piece has thickness to it? Okay. The last thing you have to do with that is you need to convert it from a surface object to a voxel object. 3D Code is a voxel modeler. Voxels give you a guaranteed solid object. Surfaces are always just a skin. But a voxel object, even when it's a skin, is made up of little cubes. It's not made of little surfaces, little triangle meshes, or quad meshes like a nylon stocking. It's actually like a stack of sugar cubes. It's like Minecraft, only really tiny. Okay, so you have little cubes, and that gives you automatic geometric solids, which is why you can print anything that you make in 3D Code. If you export it as a voxel object, you can 3D print it. So it's a very powerful thing to have. Right now, all of these are surfaces. You can tell because they're all S's. You always import as a surface, never import as a voxel. You'll get really bad results. But once you've got what you kind of want here, you're going to voxelize it. To voxelize it, you just click on the S. It's going to tell you how many polys are going to be required to show this here. It says 200,000. Fine. And that is there, the voxelized, thickened piece of surface. Then you're going to go to the next one up the list. Thicken, 4 millimeters. Assign material to it. Voxelize it. And you can see that you start to having a hard time getting it to back up. Hopefully we're not having a crash problem, because that would be really annoying. Now there we go. Okay. We haven't really talked about even how to navigate in this software. To navigate in 3D Code, zoom in and out is right mouse drag up and down. Pan is middle mouse button drag. Revolve is left mouse button click and drag. Okay? But you can see what we're getting here. Yeah. If we keep doing that, and you will on your own free time keep doing that, you will end up with, did I close it out? I did. What I have here. Once it comes up.